DSS tracking system used to shield kidnappers for cash. Nigerian hunters expose security corruption. Terrorists reportedly killed 40 people in fresh attack on Plateau community. NOA exposes fraud in Nigerian student loan scheme. Universities, banks accused of withholding funds. Nigerian Army speaks on poor enlistment from Southeast. Nigeria won't approve expatriates quota for drivers, waiters again, says FG. They only know how to drain data. Telecom consumers lament tariff hike, poor network. Summary of the news. DSS tracking system used to shield kidnappers for cash. Nigerian hunters expose security corruption. Local hunters from southwestern Nigeria have raised serious allegations against some operatives of the Department of State Services (DSS) and soldiers, accusing them of corruption, negligence, and misconduct that undermine joint security efforts. The hunters traveled in person to confidentially brief a community leader fearing digital interception. Key allegations include DSS officers abusing phone tracking technology to extort kidnappers instead of arresting them, with some operatives allegedly arrested and taken to Abuja in chains. Soldiers engaging in extortion at checkpoints, reckless behavior during patrols, leading to hunter death, and inappropriate relationships with local women, including married ones, using bribe money. As a result, hunters are distancing themselves from joint patrols and returning to traditional protective methods, warning that community tensions may soon escalate dangerously, hinting at the possible use of traditional justice methods like Magum. The revelations point to deep distrust and a breakdown in collaboration between local communities and national security forces. Terrorists reportedly killed 40 people in fresh attack on Plateau community. At least 40 people were killed in a terrorist attack on the Zik community in Plateau State's Basa local government area early Monday morning. According to community leader Okili Tongwe, the attackers opened fire on residents in the pre-dawn hours. 36 were killed on the spot and 4 more died later from injuries, with several others wounded and hospitalized. Security agencies have not issued an official statement. An attempt to reach the Plateau State Police Command were unsuccessful. This attack follows a similar massacre in Bokos local government area where 52 people were killed less than 2 weeks ago. Governor Caleb Mutfwang described the violence as a part of an organized campaign of ethnic cleansing and alleged that terrorists have taken over and renamed 64 communities. Despite government assurances, residents remain fearful as violence continues unabated. NOA exposes fraud in Nigerian student loan scheme. Universities, banks accused of withholding funds. The National Orientation Agency (NOA) has uncovered unethical practices by some universities and banks that are preventing students from accessing the federal government's student loan fund. According to the NOA, certain institutions have been withholding loan disbursement information and even demanding tuition fees from students despite already receiving the funds from the Nigerian Education Loan Fund (NEL) fund. These actions are seen as fraudulent and a violation of students' rights. NEL fund has warned that it will take legal action against institutions found guilty of such practices. The NOA has instructed its state offices to intensify efforts to gather feedback from students and support the government's push for transparency and accountability. The investigation is ongoing and more actions expected soon. Nigerian Army speaks on poor enlistment from Southeast. The Nigerian Army has raised concerns over the low enlistment of Southeast youth in the 2025 recruitment exercise. Brigadier General Chima Ekeato highlighted the disparity, noting that while Kaduna State had over 3,000 applicants, Enugu State had just about 100, despite being allocated 200 slots. This trend of poor participation is consistent across the Southeast. Ekeato himself from the region urged youth to change their mindset and take advantage of the opportunities. He also dismissed claims that Southeastern recruits are more likely to be sent to the front lines or killed in action, citing examples of prominent Igbo officers in the army. Enugu State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Leod Ekweremadu, called for better advertisement strategies to appeal to the new generation and emphasize the need to highlight the benefits of military service. Local government leaders and traditional rulers echoed these sentiments, pledging support and calling for more awareness campaign to encourage enlistment. The reluctance to join the military is partly attributed to fears of deployment to conflict zones and influence from IPOB, a separatist group advocating for Biafra. IPOB has discouraged Southeast youth from joining security forces, contributing to the region's ongoing recruitment challenges. Nigeria won't approve expatriate quota for drivers. Wait us again, says FG. Nigeria's Minister of Interior Olubumetunji Ojo has announced that the country will stop approving expatriate quota for foreign workers in job roles easily handled by Nigerians, such as drivers, cooks, and waitresses. He emphasized that these roles should be filled by Nigerian youths and that requesting foreign workers for such jobs is anti-development and will no longer be tolerated. Starting May 4, 2025, as part of the new expatriate administration system, the government will implement reform including a revised expatriate quota system for only genuinely skilled roles, an e-visa system replacing the visa on arrival to reduce corruption, processed within 24 hours, upgraded SERPAC resident work permit, now fully online and integrated with Interpol, mandatory in-person interviews for standard visa applications, introduction of comprehensive expatriate insurance to cover repatriation costs, automated landing exit cards to track overstays with penalties including fines and bans, e.g. $15 per day fine up to 10 years ban. Employees will be held accountable for immigration violations. Expatriates will no longer be allowed to switch jobs without proper authorization, and overstaying visas will now attract strict penalties. A 3-month grace period will be open after May 1st before enforcement begins in August. They only know how to drain data. Telecom consumers lament tariff hike, poor network. Some telecommunication subscribers in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Nigeria have called on mobile network operators to improve their service quality following recent tariff increases. In an interview with the news agency of Nigeria (NAN), users expressed frustration over poor network performance despite having active data plans, citing issues like server errors, slow internet speeds, and delays in data activation. Mr. Oga Paul and Mr. Victor James both criticized the network for poor service, with Paul lamenting difficulties in making calls or accessing the internet, and James complaining about delays in data activation. In contrast, Ms. Josephine Tanko reported satisfaction with her network provider, describing it as fast and reliable, while urging underperforming providers to enhance their services. The Nigerian Telecommunications Commission (NCC) had earlier stated it will hold service providers accountable for poor service delivery. Follow for more. April 14, 2025.